Hi, y'alls. I don't know how many folks got an opportunity to spend time with Angela on her live. I know that Lex would have absolutely loved to have the live tonight. Things just didn't work out. And so, yeah. Um, the Greenberg Brigade said, hi, I didn't think you would be on tonight. I got some sleep. I finally got some sleep, y'alls. Um, I'm so thankful I took the day off. My body was just saying, you need to sleep. And I think it was a main reason why I had said originally, thanks, Ronnie. I said originally that I was going to stop doing everyday lives. But you know why I ended up still doing everyday lives in the end? It's because y'all, I end up missing y'all's. And I do enjoy my time with you. And so, but I did start to be like, oh, I'm just going to like do a short like amount of time, like not do long period of times. But one of the things that I have actually appreciated is the chance to go to other people's lives now. And it's like, oh, it feels really good to sit in other people's lives because I'm like, oh, this is how it feels. Because when you are doing a live or you're facilitating a live, there is a different energy that you have to like bring versus like when you just get to comment and do all those things. Thanks, Therese. And so I really, really appreciate just that opportunity to lean back and just listen to the ladies share and all of that stuff. But also one of the fun things that I got to enjoy, because it would be weird for me to do it on my own live, but one of the things I got to enjoy was like I didn't know how much fun it is to double tap a screen. I literally started doing it like a game, like a video game almost, because it felt like a video game. So I was just like pressing it and I was like, how many can I do in like a minute? And um I think I did it for a minute for in Angela's and I got to like 824. But I don't know if it was more than a minute. I don't know. Like cuz I was looking at the thing and then it just, or maybe it was less than a minute because it was like at 28 and I stopped at 29. But anyways, so it was just, I don't know. So it was just fun to be like on like the other side of things because before I started doing lives, I had never ever entered a live. That's why I had no clue what I was doing, and I still kind of don't have a clue about what I'm doing. But yeah. So one of the things that I haven't done for a really long time is my usual blurb, which is like if you can do the daily heart me, which is the orange heart, that'd be great. And Ronnie and Therese did that already, so thank you for that. Also, the double tapping, which I found out was really fun on that side. And then what's the other stuff? You can share if you feel comfortable giving gifts. That's great. Thank you, Tegan. And oh yeah, and you can subscribe. Those are the options. Okay, so let me read what the chat has going on here. And I mean, I obviously it's really late at night, so this is not going to be really long. But I'm just kind of happy that I have a little bit of energy left. I mean, energy back since I went to sleep and got back up. So let's see here. So a lot of folks saying hi. DKT just got off the Angela's live. It was great to be able to sit in and listen to those ladies. Taco Bella says, "Hey, girlie, what's the latest since earlier this afternoon?" I don't actually think that there's anything necessarily new, Taco Bella. At least nothing that I had heard. If anybody has heard of anything new, just please let me know. But I don't believe I've heard of anything new since this afternoon. So because I did genuinely like go to sleep because I was. That's the main reason. Oops, wrong one. Did I? Oops, hold on. My ring light thing just broke. Not broke, but I accidentally unhooked it. Um. Oh gosh. What? That was so bright. Oh my word. I was trying to like that was really bright. So yeah, I literally went to sleep. That's the main reason I took the day off of work and took a vacation day because my body was just so run down because I kept doing lives and I kept doing other things and I don't even realize how much that starts to affect my body if I'm doing it for prolonged periods of time until like because I'm just like feeling like so much excitement of being with y'all's that I just don't even realize it until I'm like, oh, you're not sleeping enough. You're not doing any of these things enough. So that's why I went to sleep. Kimura Girl said, you are amazing. Thank you. The Greenberg Brigade says, I was on for part of Angela's live. It was good. Yeah, no, I got to stay for the bulk of it, not all of it. I did do some stuff on my own page for a little bit of time, but I did come back. So I think I saw like the earlier part of it and the latter part of it, but like missed some of the middle. Kumorova Girl said, why do you look so energetic? I think it's because I finally got some sleep. I really think, like, I was looking at some of my videos like yesterday, and I could see my brain like being very slow in processing and speaking slowly because like my brain was just trying so hard to like push through, I think. Ronnie said, y'all really not going to let me sleep. I mean, Ronnie, I am such a proponent of sleep. Like, you know, I'm such a proponent. So if you need to sleep, you know, it'll be on my YouTube and you can watch it later if you want. But I mean, I know that tomorrow, I'm sure folks are very excited to go to Tiff's. I think it's the part 2 timeline that folks are super excited. And I heard that's at 12 Pacific Standard Time and 3 Eastern Standard Time for folks who are planning to go to Tiff's live. Oh, Lenny, it's good morning for you. Good morning. Let's see here. Yeah, Ronnie said it's nice, right? Yeah, it's nice to sit back and listen to folks and not necessarily. There's a person who says, has a star says, join Mary's live. Thank you, Therese. Join Mary's live. Do I know Mary? And have Mary reach out to me if there's somebody who wants to do a live in the future together. Let me know. Kimorova Girl said, now everyone is here. Oh, I don't think everybody is here. Is everybody here? I think some people are sleeping, rightfully so. The Greenberg Brigade said, I'm so glad you got some rest. I enjoy seeing everyone in all the same lives. We're a family. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a great community because you do support each other. You do get to learn to care about each other. You get to know each other, you know, and I think that when it comes down to it, everybody is seeking community. Everybody desires community. It's actually built in our DNA to desire connection. So I know that there's some of the content of the conversation today was around the negativity that happened in X and all those different things. And the sad part is, I think even that person doing what they did was their own attempt at making their own community and feeling connected with other people. And so unfortunately, their method of doing so is to put other people down. And so I wish that wasn't their method, but it's what they chose to do. And they're going to find their people through that method. And I think we're just trying to find our own people through our own methods. Tegan Pete said, it's so fun. Yeah. Drama Fiend says, whose lives do you join? So the ones that I've had an opportunity to sit in, live wise recently were Heather, so Ho Ho, and she has a lot of numbers right behind her now, but it just used to be Ho Ho. I've been to Caroline's, I've been to Angela's, and then on those lives there were already a mix of those ladies within those lives, but I'm just listing the ones who were hosting the live. I think it may be those 3 ladies that I've been in. I've been on Instagram. I've been before in the past on Mia's live. I've been in the past very briefly on Tiff's live. Whenever it's a larger content creator, though, sometimes it gets so like fast. Like I love looking at comments and things of that nature. That's why Minnie made a joke that one time she wrote like, where did you, when did this start or whatever? and I read it like 45 minutes later because I do like to look at each comment when I can, but I'm also commenting on a lot of things. I get really overwhelmed with large crowds, even if it's online, simply because my personality is I really care about every individual. And so like sometimes if I can't have a chance to read people's comments, it makes me feel bad. But sometimes there's no way to go about like getting to read everybody's comments. Sometimes there are comments that I don't want to read out loud because I think it changes the atmosphere to read some comments out loud because sometimes it's not the nicest or the kindest, but the majority of the time, the comments are pretty kind and pretty constructive. Tegan Pete said I go crazy with the tapping. It is really fun. I never realized how funny it would be. I said I kind of want to do a contest like during like, hey, see how many people can tap hearts in a minute. I don't know if a minute feels long though, but 30 seconds, I don't know. But and then just see like how much people can tap in a certain amount of time. I don't know. It was really fun. I was having a contest with myself, like to beat my own score. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, the Green Bird Brigade says I do that too. It's fun. Okay. I didn't realize the joys of it until I did it myself. And I was like, oh, it is fun. And especially if you're trying to beat a score that you had before. Cause at first I think I had like 300 hearts, 394. Then I did I don't know. I was short of 500 and I'm like, oh my word, I was so close to 500. And then I did that 800 and something. And I was like, yeah. I'm a nerd that way, I suppose. Hug Me 73 said, I was wondering what you were doing. LOL. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me. The person who keeps asking if I can join Mary's live, I mentally didn't even prepare to do this live. If again, and I responded to this earlier, so maybe this is late because I'm really late at reading people's messages. If that person wants to reach out to me for a future live, and I know them a little bit more, we engage a little bit more, then sure. Teresa's just joined after Angela's campaign Friday. Oh, okay. Therese, thank you for letting me know that. Okay, I'm going to make sure that she's properly credited for that. Awesome. Aaron Blue Lee said, I replayed season 2 twice today. Awesome. And oh gosh, I got to remember to actually return on my laptop because I had to upload the YouTube video from today. And I tried to replay my Netflix to continue my watch of season 3. And for some reason, it was like a black screen and it wouldn't fix. And I just needed to sleep. So I just went to sleep. Madison said, did you talk about the tweet about Greece? I have no context to know what that means. Madison, sorry. Natalie said, in your opinion, do you think Nick and Luke would hard launch or soft launch their relationship? Okay, so you're just asking it for an opinion, not necessarily that I would have any reason to know one way or the other. So if I'm just speaking my opinion, I think that Nicola is a private person, and I think that she is surrounded by people who respect her privacy. And so I think that if her and Luke ever choose to pursue a relationship, I believe that they won't launch anything. I think that I don't think they'll launch anything until it's solidified that it's forever. It's a forever situation. Is what we believe it to be, which is Endgame. So I think that they will hold off in letting anybody know anything's happening fully. There might be hints. There might be hints that we pick up, but I don't think they would ever definitively say anything unless they knew for sure it's a wedding and a marriage and forever with each other. Because I think the connection that Luke and Nicola have towards each other is one that you measure really a lot of whether or not you're going to risk your friendship and have it not work out when you have that deep of a relationship. So I think that's always the thing that makes people nervous to take that step, because they don't know if they're going to lose everything. And because Luke has been one to say that he cuts off people once relationships end, I think there's always this determination in a person's mind. I would rather have this person as a friend for life than not to have the person in my life at all. So that's why I feel like they would safeguard and they would protect their relationships as much as they can. Taco Bella said, "What time is it where you're at? Are you Pacific time?" Yeah, I'm Pacific Standard Time, so I'm at 10:37 p.m. right now. The Greenberg Brigade said the Lucala adrenaline is real. It's true. You know what? Honestly, like there is truth to that. Like I get really pumped up about it, and then it's kind of like when you are so like your energy's going going, and then when you have a moment to yourself, a moment to rest, kind of like what Nicholas shared about like being on this promo tour, going, and the minute she had a chance to rest, she got sick, and that's the same thing. Like I can go because I'm being fed through this energy. But the minute I have a moment, I'm like, I am tired. I'm really exhausted. I'm pushing through. And I wish I had like all the stamina in the world and all the energy in the world. But like my body just tells me like, this is good. This is enough. Karen said, so appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see here. Ronnie said, wasn't Lex chat going to be today? Oh, thank you, Ho Ho. I really appreciate that. I think you're amazing too, Heather. Wasn't Lex chat going to be today? Yes, it was going to be today. There were some issues with just TikTok and allowance and all these different things. These particulars, Lex had let me know and all these different things. So we were hoping it was going to get resolved before tonight, and it is not. And so we are going to try again. I know that she's trying to get everything sorted out. So hopefully we will get it rescheduled. It might be not until September that is rescheduled. Thank you, Karen. But the hope is that we get it rescheduled. I was looking forward to it, Ronnie, because I love Lex's insight. So if it ever can work out sooner than September, then I'm definitely going to try for that. Oh, but I guess September is coming up soon. I forgot about that. I guess we're midway to August, through August. I forgot about that. Natalia said, I'm excited, but she said to buckle up. It's not the best part of the timeline. LOL. Yeah. What I hope is that I think there's always a nervousness, especially when you have a large platform, right? If you're just bringing objective facts to people, there's that response. Okay, so she's just providing facts, right? The nervousness that you have, and I don't know if she has this nervousness as a content creator. I have perhaps I should speak for myself. The nervousness I always have is like where is the line between my personal responsibility and what some people will choose to do with information, right? And so it's one of those things where I know that there's some folks that reached out to me and said, oh, could you ask Tiff to like maybe not do this second part because they were afraid that it was going to negatively like have backlash towards Luke and all these different things. And I'm like, that's something like, it's so hard. I said, because that as a content creator, you have to decide all the time. Like if she's just giving objective facts, like, or just telling you this happened this time, this happened here, this, and it's not like an opinion piece, but more like here's just when something happened, how people choose to interpret that or how people choose to manipulate that or whatever to push a narrative or to treat someone negatively, like that, there's only a certain line. So I always say, like, what is the line of the personal responsibility of a content creator, and when is it the personal responsibility of the consumers to consume the content in a responsible way? And they and can't like point to someone and say, like, because you gave me this, like, it was inevitable that I was going to use it in this particularly not kind way. So hopefully people, when they hear the timeline, are going to hear it for what it is and not necessarily use it as an excuse to be hurtful or harmful to any party in the whole timeline. Let's see here. TK said, I love our fandom. Dulcie said, I need to sleep, but I do want to, no, not with these lives going on, talking about my favorite subject. LOL. Yeah, I hear you, Dulce. I won't try to keep this long. It sounds like there's another live going on that maybe some folks might want to go to. But I just wanted to just check in because finally I got a little bit of sleep. So I was like, yes, I'm excited about that. Tam said, hi, Phoebe. Hi. I heard that you made a really beautiful flyer for Minnie's birthday party. Thank you, UWU_peace. Annie said, I didn't see what happened on X, just heard people were being mean. Yeah, I got the message. I mean, I saw it, but I was in a sleepy mood last night. I was so tired that I actually didn't read it. At first I thought it was like someone promoting it in a positive way. I had to reread it again to realize it was a negative statement that the person was trying to make towards all of these content creators. I did find out though, like when a really mean account, like not a really mean account because I don't know about the account, but a really mean post was put up in another account misrepresenting a live that I was doing. What I found out in reality is it's true that there is no such thing as bad publicity in the end, because it just literally people get curious. And so there's going to be some people who are going to presume the worst about you, because when you think about like who chooses to believe what people believe their friends. And so if their friends are saying certain things about people, they tend to believe that, right? Unless they do their own fact checking or create their own relationship with those people. So what it ended up happening, I feel like, because I did get some new followers around the time that this negative post was put up, and also this other negative post was put up. So a part of me is like, I hope it's not hate watchers. You never know until they make themselves known to be hate watchers. But then the other part of it was like, there are some folks that may have seen what they did, didn't like what they did, but said, okay, if they're going to be negative about these content creators, maybe and I don't like how they're being negative about these content creators. Maybe these content creators might be folks that I would actually like to see. And so in essence, their negativity does drive people to the page, whether it's for positive or negative things. We find out as we go on. I'm thankful that I didn't spend time reading the comments. I heard in that live that some folks did read comments and it was hurtful to them. So I'm just thankful that I try to have the mentality that people's opinion about me is none of my business. Because if I drown myself in that kind of stuff, it's no matter how well you know yourself, it still affects you, because it's still hurtful when strangers make judgment calls on who you are as a person or assume things about you that aren't true. But at the same time, I would be a hypocrite to say if I wouldn't, like, that doesn't happen like with me as well. You know what I mean? So I have to always watch myself. Like, I always try to give people the same amount of grace that I hope that they give me. And so, when you're really upset about something and you think you're in the right, it's easy for people to excuse their behavior because they feel like they're in the right. So I'm sure this person thought they were in the right, even if they were engaging in behavior that was hurtful to other people. The Greenbird Brigade said, I literally explained to my husband today why I watch so many lives is because of the community. Absolutely, Greenbird Brigade. TK said X is toxic. You know what? When it used to be Twitter, I actually met a lot of amazing people because I was and I still am a big Mariners fan. It's just I haven't watched any games. But I mean, I met Mariners fans, Seahawks fans. I'm in Washington State, so it was really meaningful for me to have a community there. So I think like any platform, it is what you make of it. And unfortunately, I think that there's been a growing number of like unhealthiness that has come out when the Twitter X switch happened. And part of it, I think, even is like, you can't even trust verifications anymore. That's why I knew when that verified account of Luke and the verified account of Nicola was out that I could not trust that verification because it means nothing in X these days. Not the way that it meant something when it was Twitter. Shelly said, I would love a live with just you and Caroline. We actually did do a live. It was a book club of hers that she had before. Unfortunately, I haven't read the book, so I didn't feel like I contributed as much as I probably wish I could have, but I had already forewarned Caroline. I was like, I don't know, because I haven't read the books, unfortunately. Kimura Girl said, I think all of you creators are amazing and are brilliant ladies. You guys deserve greatness. Aaron Blue Lee says, sometimes they can be too much. Are you talking about, actually, I'm not sure. This is the problem I have when I'm so behind. I know there's 87 new messages, so I know I'm so behind. Y'all probably laughing at how late I am at reading this. The Green Brigade said, I love that you really try to respond to comments. I really do, and don't know how far behind I am right now. Nellie said, what have I missed here, guys? Not too much, Nellie. What I usually tell people now when they say, what have I missed here? I mean, obviously some folks may respond in the comment section, but thank you, Redaloo. I do put these up on YouTube. So if folks want to go back and watch it after the fact and see what was said before you entered the space, that might be helpful for you. Because I rarely remember what I said because I'm not a scripted person. I don't have something typically planned unless I have guests, and there are specific things I want to know about my guests, and I want to so there's a difference between when guests come unplanned for me, because then that's really just us just talking, but there's when I specifically ask folks to come, it's because I really do want to center them, and I do want to let people know about the existence of their accounts, what they're about, give them a platform to share a little bit about that, and then potentially talk about like fun stuff and what other people might have questions on. Karen says, yes, make it personable. TK says, this fandom needs the only place I can talk about Lucala when I know watches Bridgerton. Yeah, so there's two things that I have heard a lot in the fandom in this particular community that we have. One is that the reason they joined this community is because they didn't have any people in their actual lives that were as interested about Bridgerton, or specifically for me at least, Lucala content, right? So it was really important for me to find other folks to talk to about that. And the second thing I've heard a lot is the fact that the majority of us never shipped real people before. That was not a thing that we did. Maybe we shipped characters, but we never shipped real people. And I think it was because when we watched them on the promo tour, their connection was so rare that we were like, why aren't these two individuals together? Felicia said, all of the people are so awesome and do not deserve hate. Thank you, Felicia. I mean, I don't think anybody deserves hate, to be honest. And even this person, like, as I'm processing it, it's like, sometimes I feel like one of the things that I don't want to do the opposite of either is when people are like, because this person was mean, we can be mean right back to the person. I'm like, at the end of the day, they're also a human being. I think we can definitely address behavior without, like, you know, I think as long as people are, I guess, responding back to any comments by just reasserting who the creators are in the sense of their not their character, well, maybe their character, but like, I hope, I guess, I don't know how to describe it. All to say, like, I just try not to invest in that type of energy. Thank you, Tina G. Oh, Cora, most taps was like 1,300 plus. I'm so impressed. I'm really impressed, Cora. How long were you tapping? I mean, well, okay, maybe, because I did do 800 and something when I was tapping for a minute. So maybe you were like doing like it for a minute and a half. But then, or maybe you're just a fast tapper. Oh, Felicia said, I try to tap until I get the confetti. That's right. How many is it to get the confetti? I saw it already get it goes to the end of the thing, but I kept going. So, but I probably, if I let go, it probably would have done the confetti at the time that I hit the like the max of that. Um, Trixie said, "What a nice surprise to see you are having a live." Thank you, Trixie. Um, let's see here. Veronica said, "Are we watching only part 2 or all of it?" Oh, Veronica. Okay, so here's my answer to this, and I know that there's large content creators, including Tiff, who has said that only part 2 matters. And here's what I will say: there is very few things that Netflix has shared, but one thing that they do share on their top 10 most viewed list is that the difference of how things are calculated. So when the first 4 episodes of this season came out and they did weekly reports, they counted those things as one view because that was all the episodes available. However, they were only 4 weekly reports. When the top 10, the top 10 most viewed shows on Netflix come out, they use a different calculation. Now, in order to be considered a full view, it has to be the season, the whole season, not just part of the season, the whole season. So that's why they said that the 91 days doesn't start until all of the episodes are released. So once all of the episodes were released in June, instead of the first part being a full view, it became a partial view if you watch that. So the folks that are just watching part 2, as long as they understand that watching part 2 is not enough to give them a full view, I'm fine with them just watching part 2. So some of them are watching part 2 twice. Yeah, that's a full view because part 2 twice has enough runtime minutes to equal the full season. What I'm just so sad about is there are people who genuinely believe that they're helping by just doing part 2. And so I'm not mad at the misinformation because I don't blame people for the misinformation when Netflix has I think intentionally kept it vague for people because they are afraid of people trying to not create organic watches. And it doesn't stop us from trying to still push for it, right? But I think that's the main reason Netflix avoids trying to explicitly say how they're going to calculate these views, even though they gave us hints through that blurb they put under the top 10 viewed shows of Netflix. So the answer is you can only watch part 2 if you want to. All of the minutes matter as long as people know that it's the full runtime minutes of the full season that's going to equal into one view. Tori Has Opinion says, I'm just finishing my 3rd viewing. Thank you, Tori. I love it. I love that there are some folks that have such a great commitment. I feel like I am failing myself to do that. I get 1 watch in usually. Sometimes I get in 2 a day. Leisha said we got an anvil dropped on us with those songs. Yes. I absolutely loved those songs. And I was giddy in the first one. The second one, I think this is how I described it earlier today. Because there was so much content coming from Nicola, it was almost overwhelming for me to consume it. Thank you, Rochelle. It was so much for me to consume it that I don't think I even have consumed fully the second song the way that I consumed the first one. Partly because I was exhausted, but partly because I think I was really moved by the I'm in love with you line in the first song that I was just so giddy about it. And I'm just a person that can't fake emotions really well at all. So if I'm giddy, I'm giddy. But if I'm not giddy, I can't act giddy. So I wanted to be giddy for folks because when I did my first YouTube live and someone had asked me in that live, like, why are you not as giddy for this second song? And I was like, 1, I'm tired, but also I just don't think I am giddy. I like what the second song offered, but it wasn't like the first song, maybe because the first song was like, oh my word, this could be something, you know? Tricky said, OMG, the heart tapping was fun, wasn't it? Totally. TK said, Nicola lives for giving her fan hints. I think she does enjoy it. I think she knows it is fun. And this is the harmless aspect of the fandom. It genuinely is. It's usually just like fun little, you know, fun little things to figure out. Being an investigator or an inspector. Well, now that's Inspector Gadget. I realize now there's Inspector Gadget. I literally said to somebody Investigator Gadget. I don't know why I said that. When it's Inspector Gadget, that person might have laughed when they probably read that. I don't know who I sent that to, but I just realized now that was Inspector Gadget, not Investigator Gadget. Anyways, Karen says everyone has to have downtime. Absolutely. Julie 2000 said, I believe forever too. Shelly, I was so sure with recent events, but I needed to reevaluate and take a step back for my hopeful heart. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if any of my moderators are here. I am so behind. It says 99 plus new messages. So if there are any things that I should be reading, just feel free to put it up on the screen. So I apologize. Love May said, hey Phoebe. Hey, Love May, you did such a great job moderating. Actually, maybe I should put you as a mod because I was just so impressed with the way you moderated the other live that I might add you here as well. Hold on. Okay. I think confirm. Trixie, you're right. How you interpret the facts is up to them. Yeah. The Greenberg Brigade says Tiff is so good at sticking to the facts. I love that about her. And Trixie says, sorry, how they interpret the facts is up to them. Yeah. Okay. And Valencia says, and Tiff even gives a disclaimer that it's all public facing. She just compiles it, which is a great reminder. Again, that's kind of what we want to make sure we are doing, that it is something that didn't come from doing some intrusive, like deep diving into something. If it's something out publicly, that's fair game. The only time I think I always struggle is, again, the conversation, Valencia, that we and I hope I'm saying it right. Thank you, Tanya C. Is that whole thing about paparazzi that we were talking about, right? Because then that does, in essence, become public. But was it something that they wanted? Who knows, right? Probably not. Rarely is it. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because I guess there are people that literally call paparazzi on themselves. And then that had nothing to do with, when I made that comment, it wasn't even with the other situation in mind. But there are just proven that people do call that for their own publicity. Jen said, I believe we have a lot of discussions on everyone owning their own issues / dysfunctions. Yeah. Tori has opinions or to judge. See, Infinity Art said, I'm just so in love with their love. Yeah, I think that's what we saw, and we loved witnessing that. I think that at the end of the day, the people that dislike myself and the other content creators, and we're the one thing I think that we all could collectively, them as well as us, agree on is that we do want the best. Hopefully we want the best for them. And here's the thing, like, even though I do hope and want so much for Luke and Nicola to get together, at the end of the day, I trust them as adults as individuals to make the best decisions for themselves. And my support for them is not based on whether or not they do what I wish, which is for them to end up together. I will still support Luke and I will still support Nicola, even if they end up with other people. And I'm hoping that the fan base, I'm hoping and I'm thinking that the majority of the fan base feel the same way. As much as we love Lucala, you know, it's still their life to live. We get giddy, we hope for it. Will there be disappointment if it's not the case? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, we would still be respectful of their choices. And people might be like, oh, is that the case? Because they don't think that people have been respectful of the current choice that Luke is making. But to me, that is not, I guess, they might, one, they have a point. But two, To me, that's not the same thing as committing to somebody for the rest of your life. There's a lot of folks that come in and out of our lives that are there for a season, but I'm talking about like who do you choose in the end to be with for the rest of your life? Now, if it is this person, then it is this person, and I will respect and support whatever decision he makes, because at the end of the day, that's not my life to live, and as long as the person is happy, you know. Lovemate said, this is so important. I hope we can all keep being positive and bringing each other together. Yes, I hope so. Lovemate said, I love your content, doing a like spree. Let's see here. Just want to see if it did take it. Okay, I did. Felicia said, I followed most of those creators because they were positive and fun. It helped me find more to follow. Yay. I'm glad to hear that, Felicia. Even though it was bad, I found more creators. Oh, see? Okay. I really appreciate hearing that, Felicia. I love Snoopy0777 said, Bocce, did you ever see what was in the sunglasses or decide what you saw? Yes. So I'm 98.9%, and I don't know why I've committed to that number, because I've said 98.9% many a times, but 98.9%, I'm fairly sure that Camilla is the person in the front. And then there is a person behind Camilla, most likely holding the cell phone, though after a second look, I'm wondering if it was Camilla holding the cell phone to take the photo. But I do strongly still believe there is a second person behind Camilla, both of the people underneath the shade. And it's either Jake Dunn, I'm guessing, or Luke. Now, I would like it to be Luke, but as I said to people, I have yet to see Luke and Nicola hang out with each other's close friend groups. So I'm more leaning towards Jake Dunn simply because of that. But I would love to believe it's Luke. But if Camilla was there, I don't know if I've ever seen, I guess I've never seen the mixing of the friend groups to know if that's even a possibility. Tori has opinions, says, I stay clear of X. I used to love to go there. I still have an account there, but it revolves around Russell Wilson. Yeah, so that's who I go to. I mean, that's where I go to do that. So once football season starts, I'll probably be posting some things there, watching Russell. Hopefully he gets to start. He got a little cramp in his calf, I think, and I think Justin Fields has started for the bulk of the time. I know that, you know, some folks, if you're in Seattle, have had mixed feelings after he left, but I still love Russell Wilson. Alicia said, I've been able to watch the show again because of these lives. Oh, yay! Alicia, I'm so happy to hear that. I know that there was some folks that were really still like couldn't watch it for a really long time. So that's so awesome to hear you say that. So that's great. Thank you. Tori has opinion, says, we're almost neighbors, Bocce. Oh, are we? Where are you at? Veronica says, there's some nice people there. Unhappy people can exist on any platform. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and in all honesty, like, I still think about a moment in my life that I had gone through something years and years ago, and I was incredibly hurt, and I tried to run away from the situation, but forgetting that I can't run away from myself. And I remember going to Tennessee at that time. And I was in a world of hurt, and I didn't show up the best way I could as a person at that time, because when people say hurt people, I do think is really true. And I remember talking to people and said, there are a group of people in Tennessee that if anybody ever brought up my name, they would describe me in a way that's completely would make me cringe and make me incredibly sad. But they would not be wrong. And that's the hard part, right? Is like people get a snapshot of who you are as a person. And if people don't think you're able to grow as a person, you just stay that way in their mind. You don't get a chance to grow. You don't get a chance to be anything else. And so if anybody in that place ever talked about me and they spoke about me negatively, I would understand, because I deserved it, because I was not the best person when I was in Tennessee, and the way I lived, in the way because I was hurting, and I was mad. I was all of these things at that time. And so it is just this reality that people grow, people change. It is a snapshot of people's lives. Um, and so I know somebody said that Robin Williams once said to, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but Robin Williams once said to somebody that, little bit of time that he spends with a fan, it may be just a bit of time on his side, but to that person, it'll last them a lifetime. They'll think about that moment, And so it is that reminder that, you, that people, when they interact with you, if they don't interact with you very much, it's just that one moment, And sometimes I make decisions that are poor, and I accidentally hurt people, and I wish I could take it back, or what, all these different things. So not only are there unhappy people that can exist on any platform, even the nice people can have moments where they don't show up as nice as they can, And so again, that's why I really strongly believe in the importance of being able to give people the grace that you would like to receive. That does not mean that people can't call me out, shouldn't call me out for my behavior if I show up in a way that is not kind, is not right, or whatever. And people have, right? A lot of my content has changed over time simply because of the feedback I received from folks where they called me out on certain things. And then it made me think, is that the kind of content that I want to create? Is that the kind of environment I want to create? And so even though those folks may have said things and it hurt me at the moment, it was really beneficial to me in the long run, because I do think it really changed the way I chose to build this platform of mine based off of those feedback. Because I was like, you're right, I don't want to be connected to this negativity. I don't want to be connected to elevating people who are not Luke and Nicola on my page. I do want to focus around their love. So I'm now so behind. It's 99 plus new messages. When I used to just stay on the top and not go to the bottom, eventually it kicks out anyway. So I'm going to miss out on a lot of comments in it anyway, because once it hits a threshold, all of those comments will disappear and I'll have to start from the bottom anyway. So I apologize for that. Kumorova girl said, good night, everyone. See you guys tomorrow on Tiff's live next need sleep. Okay, Kumorova girl, I'm probably reading this and you've been sleeping for however many minutes. D said, what is your take on Brazil happenings? A lot of the things that are coming out is nothing new per se. I mean, it's things that we knew existed. We know they had dinners, and we know that Luke swims. So I mean, in that sense, nothing really, but I think it is just a mixture of the timing of all of Nicola stuff with the Brazil stuff. I think that's why it got everybody excited. If we get removed from the timing and we just look at the content itself, there's technically nothing really new. I think I was more excited for the New York premiere with the backside view of Luke and Nicola holding hands. That was probably actually more meaningful to me to see that moment than the Brazil photos, to be honest. Veronica said, I'm thinking doing lives is fairly new to this fandom. It seems this is a post-promo tour thing. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Trixie said, yeah, I have no one to talk to about Lucula. That's why I'm so engaged now. Yeah, UWU_P says, have shipped, but not to this degree, LMAO. See Infinity Art, I've literally never shipped anyone. It was the PR tour. Ronnie said, yep, the initial reaction is always emotional, but we have to recognize that they think they're doing the right thing. Yeah, absolutely. I always remind myself that everybody has an actual motivation behind the things that they do. Nobody thinks that they're the villain in their own stories, right? Everybody thinks they're the hero. I am sure that the person who put out the negative things about my account as well as the other people's account really believe that they're the hero in their own story. They believe that they're doing the right thing. They believe that they're protecting Luke and Nicola. Now, I fiercely disagree with that. but I can understand that that's probably their mindset. LV says, I've been back to work and missed last week's Lucala update. What happened? Is Luke still with his assumed girlfriend? I genuinely am probably not the correct content creator to answer this question, simply because I genuinely don't keep up with anything that has to do with anything above Luke and Nicola. I will say all I look at is Luke's page. And Luke has never introduced this person into his page, so I can't say anything about it. What I say to folks all the time is I can't comment on something being over when I've never recognized it to begin. I do recognize that there's a relationship of some sort, whether it be a situationship or whatnot, or it could be potentially something more. But it's not something I pay attention to personally. K. Rosa says, so what is the rumor of Luke in Greece? Is it fact or rumor? Again, probably a question for another content creator who watches those things. I genuinely don't know. Love May said, Phoebe, I always love your energy. Thank you. Appreciate that. Beekeeper says, I just wish we weren't giving them the attention they are obviously seeking. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. I wish that was the case. I mean, that's why I try to limit even conversation about folks that are adjacent to Luke and Nicola because of that. Because it just takes a lot of energy. But it's also reality, right? Like, it exists there even whether or not I choose to address it or not. It still exists there. So hopefully it's not given too much energy in my space, though. But I do at the same time have to recognize it when people bring it up to some degree, but not too much. Cora said, I don't know, but I just got 1,200 in here like 5 minutes ago. Oh, I'm better on my Chromebook than my phone. Okay, good to know. I think that's all the likes. It is fun. I love Snoopy 0777 said, if he were in Greece with his assumed girlfriend, I'm sure she would have posted some snippet, but she's gone silent. Since I don't follow anything with folks adjacent to Luke and Nicola, I only know that this person has gone silent simply because people have told me. So I'm sure that means something to some degree, especially if people are used to content coming from that person. Let's see here. Linda M said that was my understanding. Anyway, I watch an entire season each day. Jojo said I can usually get 3 or 4 via using 2 devices. See, that's what I'm saying. The commitment folks are doing. I hope that Luke and Nicola feel that deep, deep love that folks have for them. Love May said, I got the confetti and gave you 1,000 likes. Oh my word. Thank you, May. I appreciate that. Valencia said, we went from a drought to a monsoon. That's it. Like, I felt like I was drinking out of a fire hose. I mean, not fire hose, a fire hydrant. Fire hose, I guess that's doable, but a fire hydrant. It was like, woo. I mean, the Scrabble thing, I never even got to finish. I think I got some ideas. I mean, I know one of the folks that comments on my YouTube said she figured it out. Mary said she figured it out. So, I mean, I know other people had theories around it, but I didn't even get a chance to really finish that before. I was like, my brain was tapped out. It was just so many options. Ashley says, I'm wondering if they're still holding off on getting together until after season 4. Possibly. I mean, it's so hard to say, right? Like, it's, though I still genuinely believe that they're not going to will they let people know? I think they will eventually, but I just feel like they'd want some moments of their own, kind of like Tom Daya just really wanted their time together before they just made it official for everybody else to know. Karen said, telephone song just got me. Yeah. TK said, I have it on my iPad and TV going all day. I took over my husband's Netflix, so on his and my profile. Yes. Tanya C said the first song is beautiful. Okay, Ronnie went to bed. I don't know when because I'm so behind. Tanya C said I had to add it to my music. Linda M says, don't care about buzz killers on the other platform. Yeah. Love May said, thanks, dear. Thank you for being a mod. I mean, it does really help to have great moderators. TK's like, good night. All right. I mean, this is a good sign because it's a reminder for me that I need to be saying good night as well. Eventually, I just want to get through these comments, and once there's no more comments to look at, I'll probably say good night. Valencia said it's okay, but it's Valencia. Okay, it's because I was saying Valencia, so it's Valencia. Okay, Valencia. Karen says, night, Phoebe, thanks. Valencia. Okay, Valencia. I gotta remember the C. Valencia. Tanya C said, I love and appreciate them both no matter what. Yeah. Felicia says, we ship Lucala in whatever way makes them the most happy. Poker Kitten says, in a way, I wish they would put an end to this one way or the other. I think it's very hard for folks to have that unsettledness or I think it's hard when there's not a concrete answer one way or the other. Unfortunately, that's also part of life, to not necessarily have resolution. So hopefully we will have an answer one way or the other. And hopefully it'll be on Lucala's side. If it's not, it's just time to support them, I guess. And Philip says, I'll die on the inside, but I'll act right on the outside. I love that, M. Phillips. I'll die on the inside, but I'll act right on the outside. And you know what? I respect it. I respect that mentality because samesies, I think that probably describes me. I'll die on the inside because I'm going to be so sad, but I'll act right on the outside because at the end of the day, like, I respect their autonomy. I respect them as people. And I respect their right to make any decision that they feel is right for their own lives. Alba says, exactly, we will support them in any case, whatever they decide about future relationship. Poker Kitten said, I worry that their friends groups don't match at all, which would make it tough. It's a really great point, Poker Kitten. Because I haven't seen their friends groups mix, I've always wondered about that because friend groups are really big, and it's really big to Luke as well. His family, his friends, and his loved ones. Because usually he says friends, family, and loved ones. That's how he tends to say it. He differentiates in those three categories. I don't know why, but I find it kind of adorable. But those three categories are incredibly important to Luke. So I think it would be very important for him that his friends like her, and that her friends, I think she would find it important that her friends like him. I do think that some of his friends group absolutely do like Nicola. So I do think there's a place where it can melt very well, but I just haven't seen them engage to know one way or the other. But I think it makes sense that you're concerned about that because friends and family have a really big effect on who people choose, because the reality is, even though marriage is between two individuals, it doesn't change the fact that family and friends can make or break some relationships sometimes by how they choose to be supportive or not supportive of the person. Mona said, I followed you and other creators because of the content. Thank you, Mona. Really appreciate that. Mona said, there is a simple solution to their problems, skip or block. Yes. I genuinely, you're right. It is a simple solution. It's been a simple solution to any of my issues. I have always been proactive to block anyone who I think is unhealthy for my own mental headspace. And so, yeah. And if I disagree with something, I just scroll on by. Like, I'm not going to linger there. I'm not going to go to their page and make a fuss. I just kind of move on. Tori has opinion, says, I was hopeful that I placed in neighbor would give me away. Oh, Vancouver, BC. Okay, thanks, Tori. I get to visit there sometimes. Poker Kitten says it's just a fun thing the creators bring. None of our lives revolve around all this. Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, I will be honest though that this has taken over my life in a lot of ways that it hadn't before. I think it's different for me like doing content. It takes a lot. I mean, I think sometimes people don't realize like the how much time certain things take. Or how much emotional bandwidth sometimes things take. But yeah, uh, but you're right. None of our lives revolve around all of this. Meaning, like I still gotta adult. I still gotta work. um, I still have to have family commitments and all these different things, and just fun time, downtime for myself, and to spend time with my friends and all of these different things. I'm just really thankful for the community that's been built here, and yet at the same time knowing that this is just a portion of my life. It's not my whole life. Jen said everyone has a season they would rather not be recalled. Yeah, yeah. Um, Poker Kitten said, I think all the Lucala creators should come together and start a detective agency. They are sleuths. I am really genuinely impressed. I am genuinely impressed by some of the folks' ability to find things. I am observant. When I'm in with people in real life, I can pick up on nuances in people's body language and face stuff to pick up on that. But like folks who do investigative work in the Lucala fandom really impress me because they literally see everything, things that I would not naturally look at twice. And they're like, did you see this? And I was like, I actually genuinely didn't. Jen said, grace and forgiveness is for ourselves as well. Yes. And honestly, I think, it's important to provide that to ourselves first. Because I think I think sometimes the people that are harshest on other people tend to be the harshest on themselves. They tend to not like who they are, in some form or fashion. And so it's easy to start projecting out. User with numbers right behind us said, thank you, Phoebe. You gave me that moment when you replied to me. Oh, user with numbers right behind you. Was it from this live or a different live? Or was it a message that I sent? And hopefully it was a good moment because again, I'm so behind on these things. I don't know what people are responding to. Sorry about that. Tiffany says, everyone does. We are human making mistakes in what we are supposed to do. Just learn from them. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's all we can hope for, that we are learning, that we are becoming better people every single day. Or showing up the best way that we can. Love May says, we are all growing and learning. Accountability is also a thing, but I love the approach you bring. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've had people block me. I've had to block other people. I think most of the times we leave everything in good terms. Even the person that blocked me this morning, we left on good terms, but I just felt so bad because I felt like I wish I had an opportunity to just let that person know that if I hurt them in any way, that was not my intention. Doesn't make it any better because, again, just because you intend to not do something doesn't mean it doesn't impact somebody or it doesn't hurt somebody in a very real way. And so sometimes I'm like, just because you can say something or just because you're being honest, and sometimes being honest is used as an excuse. Like, I'm just being honest, but I'm reading back my comments and I'm like, I feel like I was kind all the way through, but sometimes content of the messages can still hurt. And so I'm like, did I need to say some of this stuff? Should I just have refrained or, so it's one of those things. Rarely do I think about a block very often because we don't know each other from Adam necessarily. And usually there's a reason why we block each other and all that stuff. But at the same time, sometimes there are ones where I'm like thinking about it because I'm like, hopefully I didn't accidentally do damage to this person or that stuff. But that's very rare. Usually it's very mutual that the parting happens. Veronica said, didn't realize I was missing your Phoebe philosophy. I mean, maybe it's because I finally got some sleep, Veronica. I don't know. Aaron Blue Lee says, and we know he can do the butterfly. And as we know, butterfly is a sign. No, just kidding. Um, okay. Valencia. Valencia. Right? Valencia says, old content, but new angles. This is true. And someone said, isn't this during PR? Isn't this old news? I said, this is not during the PR tour. It's not the part of the PR tour, but it is during the PR tour. And this is on their downtime. To me, that is different than saying it's the PR tour, because the PR tour is when they're working. Downtime is when they don't even have to spend time with each other, but choose to. Michelle said, go to Kazul's account. Another photo, Australia. I haven't seen it. Michelle, if you're able, if you're still actually in this live and you can send me or DM me that photo, that would be fantastic. Oh, okay. Aaron Blue Lee said Mary's the content creator talks most about those individuals. FYI. Oh, that's good to know, because that's I'm not sure if that's gonna work for me typically then, because it might not be a jiving of content. If the person reaches out to me, I can discuss with them that, because one, I always want to respect other people's spaces, but that also means that I have to sometimes make a decision whether it makes sense for me to be in the space if I know that we might not jive content wise as much. ___ dot Bell said, if he was with his assumed girlfriend, he definitely would have made it clear he's gone through a recent loss. If he was with, okay. Mary says, has something happened? Not that I know of. Tiffany said Phoebe doesn't talk about adjacent on her page either way. Yeah, there was a point in time, the one viral video that I did, which I ended up privating, was about that situation. It was, and I think it went viral because it was right at the time that those pictures came out. And I think that's part of some of the reasons people followed me. And so I understand if some people chose to unfollow me after that, because if they wanted more, I guess, tea around that, and then I stopped saying, hey, I really don't want to engage in that conversation, I can understand people being like, well, I came because of that, and now I'm not interested. Totally respect it and understand it. Cora said, I think it'll be a Tom Daya. I agree with that. Courtney Jane said, I'm wondering if during season 4 they will begin exploring a relationship. The set gives them that privacy. Hopefully we'll see. We'll see where things stand at that point. We'll see where things stand at that point. Mary said Luke may not have clarity. Tanya C said, I've been trying to watch, but it keeps saying Netflix is having an error. Yes, I've noticed this a lot. It's been kind of annoying. I don't know what's triggering it. Maybe it's a good sign that there's a lot of people watching, continuing to watch. And maybe they didn't expect that people will continue to watch so long after the 91 days. Because sometimes people just really ride the wave of like the first however long. People don't expect all the rewatches that end up happening. But hopefully they're going to fix that. Shelly said, I'm at an anniversary party tomorrow. I will be missing Tiff's live. Need the happy notes only. Good night, Shelly. Even though, again, you're probably long gone here. And I'll probably be gone soon, too. There's only 25 new messages. And I said once I hit that bottom of the messages, then I'll head to bed. Natalia said, get that market research done. Natalia said, you marry into a family. You do. I know sometimes people would like to believe, well, just marriage is just between the individuals. It doesn't matter. People know how strained and how difficult it gets. Sure, sometimes people will make a decision for that person will choose the person over the family. but you never want to be a reason to split a family, kind of situation. So all to say, like, yeah, you absolutely marry into a family. It's very hard. And actually people say you typically don't marry your opposite. Like opposites don't necessarily attract, but you typically do get attracted to a family unit that's opposite of what you experience. So if somebody always had dinner as a family, they're attracted to people who didn't have that as a family. People who always had other people come on family trips that weren't immediate family are attracted to people who only had family come into a family trip. I know, things like that. For some reason, it's there's something in us that tries to balance out our existence, I guess. Mary says, I don't engage hardly at all on X with this subject. Tanya C said, all I have to say is this fandom here on TikTok that I've joined has been great. When I was sad the other day when I lost my aunt, I looked towards your live. It helped me so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tanya, for saying that. I am so sorry. It's always hard to lose people in your life. It's something I think about sometimes. I'm so blessed to have known like my grandparents on my mom's side. I never got to know my grandparents on my dad's side. And there's times where it hits me that my parents are really like in their 80s, and I'm like, my word. Like, how much time do I get to spend with them still? Like, what time will that be? I have no idea. And so you want to make the most of the time you have with the people that you love, So I'm sorry for that loss. Veronica said, didn't look like a new Australian pic, eating breakfast together before interviews. Do I know that one? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. It still might be worth sending to me. Collie said, who went through recent loss? Luke? I don't know. I don't know about that one. I must have missed the context of that. Or maybe it's the quote that I read. I mean, the comment I read earlier, which I still didn't have context for. Meg said, I like being able to come to your page when I want to pretend the adjacents don't exist. And the thing is, and I also want to be kind of clear about like my thought on this is, obviously I don't want to minimize people at all that mean a lot to Luke. And I just personally made a stance on it simply because it was taking away from the purpose of the page. And so that's why. So I'm glad that you can come to my page when you want to pretend they don't exist. So I just want to let folks know that I do recognize that they exist, and I do recognize their place in his life, and that they have a place in his life, and am respectful of that. And at the same time, don't feel like it needs to be a part of like my life, Mary said, seems like no one really knows what is going on, would be kind to fans. Seems like no one really knows what is going on, would be kind to fans and not a reason to promote. Mary says, seems like no one really knows what is going on, would be kind to fans and not a reason to promote. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm getting tired because I'm not sure I understand the second half of that sentence. Sorry about that. Trixie said, good night, everyone. It's 2:30 a.m. here. Oh, my word. And I need my bed. Yes, totally understand. I'm probably wrapping up right now. Oh, because, yeah, I'm almost done with this. Okay, so Mary said, so true in many cases. Leanne said, 7:30 a.m. here. Just arrived into work. Popped in to say hello. Oh, okay. You're adulting, Leanne. Hello. Tanya C said, my dad was 87 when we lost him last year. I love he lived a long, full life. Oh, wow. That is always a blessing. My dad is 84, and he always says he's on dialysis 3 times a week. So he's, every day is a blessing to have him with me still. Tanya C is also, yeah, I'm off to bed. My kids will be up at 6 a.m. and is 12:35. Bridgerton Bonus said, put in as a guest. Oh, thank you, Bridgerton Bonus. I will say could you message me and tell me a little bit more about yourself? Because I actually have never engaged with you. And I know you asked earlier today and I didn't accept it. It's only because usually the ones that I accept are folks that I know really well and also know how my stance on like speaking about adjacents and not centering them. And so I don't know what your content is. And so if you're really big on adjacent conversations, and adjacent conversations are like Luke and anyone that's not Luke and Nicola and all of that stuff, that's probably not like, my platform is really not made for that particular thing, but there are other folks that would love that kind of stuff. So if you could just message me and so I can get a little bit of knowledge of who you are, that would be great. It's just my own little thing where I need to feel like I trust the people that I, and if I've never engaged with somebody, I'm like, it's a lot for me. So it has nothing to do with you more than my own need for knowledge of who a person is. And Philip says, you're at the bottom. You're like, congratulations, you did it. Well, now it says 11 new messages. And Tiffany, I'm probably heading off as well. So I would usually accept your invite here, but I'm probably heading off after I read these last 11 new messages. Mary said they can tell the truth and not lose fans for the show. That is what I meant. Oh, gotcha. Love May said, Phoebe, I know you're wrapping up. Thanks so much for the live. Thank you so much, May. And say, Sarah says, just up here, it's 7:30 a.m. here in Ireland. Has anything new happened overnight? It depends on what you heard already. There was just a few new pictures from Brazil, but the biggest one for me personally that I appreciated was the one from the New York premiere where you saw the footage of Luke and Nicola holding hands behind Shonda's back, which I thought was super cute. And Shonda grinning because she's the best matchmaker ever. So, Leanne said Bridgerton bonus is one of us. I follow her. Oh, that's good to know. Okay, Empress says I follow her too. Okay, so there's folks. So, and Megan says just popped in. Any updates? No new updates. Okay, so I reached the bottom. Thank you. Oh, there's one. Okay. And then, hi, I was just going to tell you that BB is the best. She is my bestie. Okay. That's good to know. So, so hopefully the person can message me. And so, because maybe I should check out their page. As long as they know that we don't talk about adjacents here and they're cool with that. I mean, not that I haven't addressed it. It's just like minimal as possible. Sometimes, hopefully, not at all. Sarah Porter said, oh, yeah, I saw those photos. I was hoping Nick would have teased us again. Maybe tonight. LOL. Yeah. Okay, folks. Thank you so much for the time with all of you. Have a great night. Thanks. Bye.